something to an AI very carefully, and it still completely missed the point? You write a beautiful paragraph. If the customer expresses satisfaction, classify it as positive and the model reads, "Absolutely terrible service," and answers, "Positive. Bro, are you okay?" Sometimes the problem isn't that your instructions are too short. The problem is that you're telling the model what you want, instead of showing it what you want. That's where few-shot prompting comes in. First, let's make the distinction simple. Zero-shot prompting means, give the model the task, but no examples. Classify this review as positive or negative. That's zero-shot. Few-shot means, here are examples of exactly how I want you to classify things. Then you give the real input. So, zero-shot, do this. Few-shot, here's how I do it. Now do this. It's the difference between here's the documentation, good luck, and here's the documentation, plus 3 examples. Because I know you're going to mess this up. Let's say we're building a customer review classifier. We want only 2 outputs, positive or negative. Instead of just saying classify the sentiment, we provide examples. Example 1, the product is amazing, positive. Example 2, customer support was terrible, negative. Then we give the model a new review. The product works great, but delivery was painfully slow. Now the model has examples showing the pattern we're asking it to follow. That's few-shot prompting. Why is this useful? Because examples can communicate things that are surprisingly difficult to describe with rules. You can spend 10 paragraphs explaining. If the sentiment is mixed, consider the dominant emotional polarity, or you can simply show, the food was amazing, but the service was awful. Negative. The example demonstrates the behavior directly. Examples teach patterns, output format, tone, classification labels, structure, edge cases, preferred behavior. Sometimes one good example is worth a surprisingly large paragraph of instructions. But here's where engineers get into trouble. Not every example is a good example. Imagine your prompt contains, refund requested maps to billing, refund requested maps to technical, refund requested maps to account. The model is now looking at you like, which one do you want? Your examples need to be correct, consistent, relevant, and representative. Remember, garbage examples in, garbage behavior out. And yes, putting AI in the middle doesn't magically fix garbage. Good examples should show the model the behavior you actually want. I need a refund. Billing. The application crashes every time. Technical. I can't change my email. Account. Notice the format. It's consistent. Input, then output. That's intentional. Don't make example 1 look like a database record, example 2 look like a poem, and example 3 look like a WhatsApp message. We're building a prompt, not hosting an art exhibition. Here's a more advanced technique. Include an edge case. If your system will encounter ambiguous inputs, show the model at least 1 example. Great product, positive. That's easy. But what about great product, terrible customer support? That's mixed sentiment. That kind of example can be much more valuable than another obvious I love this example, because you're showing the model how your system handles ambiguity. So how many examples should you provide? There's no universal magic number. The original rule of thumb is, start small, try 3 good examples, then test your system. If accuracy isn't good enough, add or improve examples. Don't immediately dump 50 examples into the prompt, because examples consume context, and context isn't free. Every example takes tokens. More tokens can mean more latency, more cost, and less room for the actual user request and context. So don't think, more examples must mean better AI. That's not engineering. The real question is, which examples give me the most useful signal per token? Imagine you have 2 prompts. Prompt A, 3 carefully selected examples covering the important cases. Prompt B, 30 random examples copied from production logs. Which one is better? Probably A, because good few-shot prompting is not give the model as many examples as possible, it's give the model the right examples. That's a very important difference. Few-shot prompting is also extremely useful for structured output. Suppose you want JSON. You can tell the model, return JSON with intent and priority, but examples can demonstrate the exact structure. I forgot my password maps to intent, account, priority, medium, then the new request. Someone charged my card twice. The example gives the model a concrete pattern to follow. But here's the senior engineer part. You still validate the JSON in your backend. Never assume the prompt said JSON. So the output must be JSON. That's how production bugs are born. Here's another important distinction for AI engineers. Few-shot prompting and RAG solve different problems. RAG provides knowledge. Here's our company's refund policy. Few-shot provides behavioral examples. Here's how we want refund questions classified. RAG. What information does the model need? Few-shot. How should the model behave? You can combine them. And that becomes very useful in production AI systems. And here's where things get really interesting. You don't always need to hard-code the same examples for every request. Imagine the user asks, "My card was charged twice." Your application could retrieve examples related to billing, payments, duplicate charges, refunds, then dynamically insert the most relevant examples into the prompt. So instead of every request getting the same examples, you build user query, find relevant examples, select top K, few-shot prompt, LLM. That's where few-shot starts connecting with semantic search, embeddings, and RAG-style architectures. From a principal engineer perspective, few-shot prompting isn't just put examples in the prompt. It's a design problem. Are the examples correct? Are they representative? Do they cover important edge cases? Are they consistent? Are they too large? Are they still relevant? And most importantly, did we actually measure whether they improved the system? Because if you can't measure the improvement, you're not optimizing. You're just adding more text. A good engineering workflow. Start with zero shot. Measure performance. Add a few carefully selected examples. Measure again. Then add an edge case. Measure again. If your accuracy goes from 82% to 94%, great. If it goes from 82% to 81%, congratulations. You just spent more tokens to make the system worse. That's why evaluation matters. So here's the golden rule for few-shot prompting. Don't just tell the model what you want. Show it. Use examples to demonstrate input, expected behavior, output. Keep examples relevant. Include important edge cases. Start small. Measure the results. And remove examples that aren't helping. Let's make this simple. Zero shot. You give the model instructions. Few shot. You give the model instructions plus examples. Examples can teach format, behavior, classification, style, and edge cases. But remember, more examples doesn't automatically mean better results. Choose examples carefully. Watch your token budget. And always evaluate the actual system. Show. Don't just tell. That's day 11 of the 100-day AI engineering series. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about one of the most misunderstood concepts in LLMs, chain of thought prompting. And no, it doesn't mean asking the AI to write you a 5-page essay about its feelings. See you in day 12.